Okay, so I was not planning on making another video this quickly, but I have to comment on this. So, if you're not aware, some people have been reporting that Bethesda themselves, or at least like their PR or marketing team, have been directly responding to negative Steam reviews. Presumably because right now the game is sitting at a 69%, nice, on Steam, and I mean, even the recent reviews are worse than that, so like things are trending downwards, and I have a feeling that's probably worse than, I mean, maybe not Fallout 76, but most of their catalog, so I feel like they're getting into a damage control thing, and oh boy is it silly, at least in my opinion. Now, obviously, if you've seen my previous video on Starfield, link in the description, I don't have the most positive thoughts on it, personally. Um, I'll admit there are some good points, and there are things that I can understand people enjoying about the game. I'm not trying to say that, you know, your opinion is invalid if you like it, or if you don't, but this does not seem like the right way to respond to negative criticism. So let's go ahead. I'm going to search by negative reviews, because I assume they're only responding to negative reviews, and they probably went by most helpful. And so, yeah, if you look right here, let's see here, negative review, developer response, yeah, so they are going crazy responding to all these negative reviews. Like, I mean, obviously it's not every review, there's literally thousands, but they've been responding to a lot of these. And, like, some of these are actually not too recent, like, this was at the beginning of November. But people are just starting to pick up on it now, because, yeah, here's one that was actually from yesterday, at the time of this recording. This one was from last week. This one was from like, literally a few hours ago. So, yeah, like, they've been actively still responding. Another one from today. So, oh my god, so I was just thinking, let's go ahead and take a look at both some of these negative reviews themselves, see if they're reasonable, for one, and then see how exactly Bethesda is responding to them. Because I do think there is a lot of interesting discussion to be had about Starfield. But let's see exactly what strategy they're taking. You see, so this first one, and I'm not trying to call out anybody who leaves a bad review, or the developers themselves. Please do not harass people, thank you. So, this person's basically going down. This actually seems like a fairly in-depth review, talking about, you know, oh, it's an immersive RPG, but every door in every colony is a loading screen, and firing an infinite stream of bullets around citizens' heads in the middle of a city is apparently just another Tuesday in America for the new Atlanteans, completely unbothered by the frag grenades going off all around them, continuing to partake, and, like, basically complaining about the lack of immersion. You know, the big thing that I always critiqued in my original video, you know, the exploration that delivers the thrill of opening your menu, selecting the fast travel option, clicking to fast travel to a star system, loading, opening your menu again, fast traveling to a planet, loading, then answering the same NPC dialogue at every planet before you're treated to another loading screen to finally land on the planet. And then their response here is, you know, generic intro, thank you for taking your time, blah blah blah. There may be loading screens in between fast traveling. Just consider the amount of data for the expansive gameplay that is procedurally generated to load flawlessly in under 3 seconds. We believe that shortcoming will not hinder our players from getting lost in the world that we created. Guys, that is missing the point. Like, it honestly feels like they just controlled F loading to make sure that the word loading time or whatever was in the review, and then they just copy-pasted this very generic response. Because the issue isn't that there's long loading screens, it's the amount of different loading screens. Like, the fact that they have to open up the menu to fast travel, to click on a star system, load, then go to a planet, load, then to land on the planet, load again. Like, that's 3 different loading screens that could have been consolidated into one. Like, that's what the issue is. And on top of that, there's, like, it's 2023. People have found ways to disguise loading screens. The game, I feel like, would have been so much better, like immeasurably better, in my opinion, if they had simply hid the loading screens. Like, it's only a few seconds long, and your ship still has to be loaded in almost all of these environments, right? So what they could have done is make it so that, say you're traveling from one star system to another, you know, activate your grav drive, start warping, and then instead of playing a cutscene and then going to a loading screen, just show it in first person, and then let me walk around my ship while it's loading. Hell, you could even make it take longer than it would normally take to load, just to give the player time to play around on their ship for a while. And then that way you have a reason to, like, spend some time crafting, talk to some NPCs, chat up your companions, that sort of thing. And then when it finishes loading, you can look out the window and see that you're in a new star system and you're no longer grav warping. Like, that would have been such a great improvement to the game, and yet they're just completely ignoring that criticism and talking about, oh, but there's so much data, though. It's just completely out of touch, missing the point. And then, of course, they finish off with this paragraph, which I'm going to save you some time from reading it, because I'm pretty sure this paragraph is copy-pasted on almost every single one of these reviews. And it basically just amounts to just, oh, maybe you should try playing the game more. You know, it's like, that. I don't think that's the point. Oh my god, so here's another one. You know, this one's a very short review, played for 75 hours, pretty long playtime. And then the main thing they focus on is they can't get over the fact that there's one mission where you find a ship launched from Earth 200 years earlier with, you know, and it's a colony ship, so it's all got to have, like, super ancient technology and everything. And yet, when you go on board, they have the exact same technology and the same computers and the same operating system. Like, they're basically just complaining about poor world building. And then Bethesda's response: if you feel that things are getting boring, there's so much more to do than the main mission. There's so many side missions, you can learn more about the people. That has nothing to do with what they were talking about. And again, that's basically the same copy-paste that I was just talking about. Like, they're talking about the world building, they're talking about inconsistencies with the logic and the technology level of the world. And they're just completely missing the point on this. Boring, soulless, empty, unpleasant to play. Todd told me at a exploring space, not fast travel menus. You don't really explore anything at all, you just teleport from desolate waste to desolate waste. And now if we look at Starfield's, or not Starfield's, but Bethesda's response: thank you for taking the time to review Starfield. We understand your frustration with fast travel, making the universe feel much smaller. Given the immense size of Starfield, we felt it made more sense to be able to use your grav drive to jump to other solar systems. It's like, that's not... Also, wait, the option to fly freely among planets is still there? But, I mean, that is technically true, but you still need to... Okay. They're really, like, twisting things to try and, like, paint themselves in a much better light. Like, this is true, and I'll admit, this is actually a much more direct feedback. So this is probably their best response yet, with them talking about how you can technically, you know, just open up your map and use your scanner to go to different planets within a solar system. But the problem is that everything is so far away that everything just looks like a dot. It's hard to know exactly what you're pointing towards without using the menu. You can't really navigate without it. So, unless you have a quest marker that's highlighting it for you, you're just kind of blind hopping whenever you try to fly within a solar system, and you're still going through a cutscene and a loading screen to get from planet to planet. You can't just fly around like you could in Outer Wilds or things like that. And then, of course, they respond to this, which is, you know, we're sorry that you do not like landing on different planets and are finding many of them empty. The intention of Starfield's exploration is to evoke a feeling of smallness in players and make you feel overwhelmed. And you can continue to explore and find worlds that do have resources you need or hidden outposts to look through. That's not... That's really, again, missing the point. Like, Starfield's planets... That's the thing, they're not even empty. Like, a lot of the things they say in their marketing and in these reviews are things like, oh, we made the planets boring on purpose because a lot of space is just big empty rocks. And I mean, I first of all, I don't think that's a good choice in the first place, because that's just going for the sake of realism when you're trying to make a fun video game. Like, you're not trying to make a space simulator, you're trying to make something that's fun to play, and walking around empty rocks isn't that fun. But that's the thing. It's not even that the rocks are empty, it's that they do have landmarks on them. Almost every single time you touch down on any random rock in space, you will find an outpost and a cave, and it'll be the same outpost and the same cave that you have found dozens of other times on dozens of other planets. Like, it'll almost feel better if they were just empty, instead of full of all this very basic copy-paste material. Oh my god. The derivative echo chamber of a game that exemplifies Bethesda's fall from grace. The RPG elements are dumbed down to a thin gruel. I don't know if I fully agree with that, but the characters are emotive and convincing as cardboard cutouts. That's true. The quests are more shells of a narrative. The long, decrepit engine is an embarrassment compared to modern genre. Competitors' POIs are reused and recycled to a ludicrous degree. Let's see what Bethesda has to say. If you feel that things are getting boring, there's so much more to do than just the main mission. Oh my god. The intention of Starfield's exploration... this is not the same review. Like, this is a different review. Like, do you see what's happening? They're literally... Like, I think they wrote up, like, a dozen or so paragraphs to highlight various common talking points that people are criticizing the game over, and they're literally just copy-pasting... Hell, they have, like, the same link. Like, go to the Discord for further ideas for more players, and... oh my god. Hundreds of hours of questing completing characters. Like, this is an ad. This isn't a response. Like, again, it would be one thing if, like, the developer was going through each of these things and individually actually replying to each person and going, oh, okay, we understand why you're like that. Can you elaborate on your feelings so that we can maybe improve upon them in future updates? Or at the very least, like, in future games or things like that. But no, it's just the same copy-paste nonsense every single time. Oh, okay. This one I'm just curious to see how they respond to this one, because this is literally just like a joke review. Ever eaten in a fast food restaurant, felt terrible afterwards, and still go back for more? That's Starfield. So what did they have to say? We're so sorry. First of all, the response is like an order of magnitude longer, and as usual, we're so sorry to hear that you did not fully enjoy your experience with Starfield. To see the most recent updates, you can visit our official site. There's many ways to play, such as exploration, role-playing, outpost building, and starship building. We highly suggest visiting the official Discord. We're still actively working on the game, and will be for a long time yet to come. Please help us best understand your issue by opening a ticket with us. After selecting your issue type, continue with next. Like, again, I'm glad. In some ways, part of me is kind of glad that they are acknowledging the criticisms at all, but like the low effort copy paste nature of it all, like this is literally the same link just posted twice. So like oh my god. Okay, let's do one last one. Okay, this one's got some pros and cons listed to it, and okay, they've got a response. Okay, so, though there are a few enjoyable gameplay loops, like capturing and building starships, the game is replete with bugs. Ooh, that's a $10 word. Glaringly missing content, plot character development inconsistencies that make Starfield not worth the investment at release pricing. At the moment, the game feels like a hasty last-gen Fallout 4 reskin. And they list a few things, like build your own ships, which is buggy, decently beautiful scenery. The Ryujin questline is engaging and well-written, although they still criticize it even then. And then, of course, the cons. Companions feel like nitpicking sociopaths. Companions can kill NPCs, then blame and be angry at you. Okay, I haven't encountered that, but that's hilarious. Guards can automatically assume you killed an NPC when you didn't. Sarah goes on about acceptance and spends the rest of the game micromanaging your morals and making confusing personality flips. Too much of a callback to Skyrim and Fallout, etc., etc. And then, as usual, we're sorry that you had a negative experience due to NPC interactions and behavior. To keep Starfield as dynamic as possible, NPCs are not fully scripted, so weirdness can ensue sometimes. Again, you don't, this feels laughable in the face of Baldur's Gate 3. Like, we're talking about a game that came out in the wake of Baldur's Gate, which is not only, like, longer and has more content, like, more meaningful content, at least, but also has such well-written characters that act very consistently and react to you and have all these cool interactions with both you and each other and the story, and they each have their own really interesting and deep side quests and character arcs. And then we're just talking about, like, oh, well, you see, we didn't feel like actually scripting the AIs and the NPCs, so things are just gonna be jank sometimes, you know? Like, that's not a good excuse. And then, of course, they're talking about, like, oh, you should try creating different... Like, again, it's just like, you should play the game more. Oh, my God. Yeah, it's... yeah, this is not the move, Bethesda. Look, to try and wrap this up in a somewhat nice bow, the main point is that, like, Bethesda should be looking at these reviews, and they should be learning from them. And like I said, I do think it is a legitimately good thing that they are, at least on a surface level, looking at these reviews and acknowledging them. So, like, you know, I'll give them points for that. But, you know, you don't, like, this could have been just a Twitter post. Like, you didn't need to go through each individual review and respond to them with this same copy-paste nonsense, just telling people to, oh, you should play the game more. Oh, actually, you know, it's fine because we meant to make it bad on purpose. Like, they should have just gone, you know what? We've been looking into the Steam reviews for a while now, and we've recognized a number of serious points of criticism that a lot of people have been saying. So we want to just acknowledge them here and discuss them further with the community. And then they could have just done that and made it like a Twitter thread or a forum post or something like that, and that would have been a more cohesive and interesting discussion and a way to consolidate all the discussion into one place. But going through and responding to each and every single one of these reviews with the same copy-paste nonsense, it just comes off as desperate, like, damage control. Like, I seriously think that they literally just looked at their Steam reviews, saw that they were mixed, and went, oh, we gotta do something to turn this around. And this ain't it. Anyways, thank you for watching. Feel free to leave a comment if you want to talk about this further, where we can actually have a meaningful discussion. And if you like the video, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to help the channel grow, it's always free to subscribe, and it helps out a lot. Until next time, thank you all for watching.